Welcome to my official review of Yosemite National Park. I've been dying to go to this national park ever since I saw pictures when I was a little kid, and we were able to spend 6 days in this national park to get a really good experience on what this park has to offer. Did it meet my lofty expectations? Let's get into it. So Yosemite National Park was established in 1890 and was our third national park to be established. And it has become one of the most popular national parks and destinations in the United States. And just like my other national park reviews, before we get into the actual review of the park, we got to talk about my 5 favorite fun, unique, and interesting facts of Yosemite National Park. Here we go.
Number 5.
Around 900 to 1300 AD, Yosemite went through a mega drought that caused Tenaya Lake level to drop significantly. Because of this, forests took over the dried lake bed until the drought ended. The forest can still be seen today as tree stumps in Tenaya Lake.
Number 4.
Before Yosemite was discovered, the valley looked a lot different, with less forest and vast meadows. This was due to the Native Americans doing controlled burns to allow for better wildlife habitat, better food resources, and wildfire prevention.
Number 3.
Every year, thousands of people would flock to Yosemite to hopefully catch a glimpse of the famous firefall, which is Horsetail Falls being illuminated during sunset, making it look like lava. However, the original firefall ran from 1872 to 1968, where hotel employees on Glacier Point would build a large bonfire and push the embers over the cliff at night, creating a glittering waterfall of fire.
Number 2.
There are no official trails that lead into Tenaya Canyon, which has resulted in many serious injuries, serious accidents, deaths, and unsolved missing persons. Some call the canyon cursed, while others call it Yosemite's Bermuda Triangle.
Number 1.
Half Dome was created by a cooled volcanic magma chamber, exposed from the uplifting of the Sierra Mountains and carved from glaciers. Today, the uplifting continues in the Sierra Mountains, and both Half Dome and El Capitan gain about 1 foot for every 1,000 years. I love me some good national park facts, but now it's time for my official review for Yosemite National Park. And for that, I break it up into 5 categories. Those categories being accessibility and amenities, recreational opportunities, plants and wildlife, scenery, and the most important, personal experience. So let's start with accessibility and amenities. So Yosemite National Park is located in the Sierra Mountains of California. So the national park is quite large and it has several entrances. But most people who come to Yosemite go to Yosemite Valley. And because of this, Yosemite Valley hosts a magnitude of different amenities. They have hotels, yurts, cabins you can rent. There's several campgrounds. In addition to that, they have Curry Village, which hosts a food court, grocery stores, gift shops. They even have restaurants as well as a bike rental area, rafting rental area. They even have a bike repair shop, which is amazing because the Yosemite Valley also has lots of bike trails to get around. And one of my favorite things that they do here is the road system that goes through the park only goes one way, which is really, really great for mitigating congestion and traffic issues. And they also have a timed entry system in place for the summer busy months to help keep the numbers down. On top of that, they also have a free bus system that you can take advantage of. It's quite amazing. And this national park does the best job, in my opinion, of navigating such a large number of visitors in such a small confined space. They really do an amazing job, and this national park earns very, very high praise in this first category. So, recreational opportunities. Yosemite National Park has a multitude of different opportunities recreational-wise that you can do. The most obvious one is hiking. Like, duh. Hiking is the most popular activity to do in Yosemite National Park, and there are some epic trails. On top of that, They also provide great biking opportunities. They have bike trails that go through Yosemite Valley. In addition to that, they open up the Tioga Road and Glacier Point to bikes a few days before they allow vehicle traffic to go through, which is a really nice touch. In addition to that, it's known as the rock climbing capital of the world, and you can go swimming, fishing, you can go rafting. There's just so many different options here with recreational opportunities, and that is why this category gets really high marks. So plants and wildlife. When we were here, we saw a wide variety of different plants and wildlife. We didn't see any bears. I know that they're there, but we didn't see any. We did see a lot of deer. Yes, there are timber tigers. Beware. We saw snake, reptiles, lots of flowers. There's lots of different trees. You have sequoia groves like Mariposa Grove and a couple others. So there's a lot of different plants and wildlife in Yosemite National Park. So it receives high marks in this category. So we're starting to get into the most important categories. And the next category is scenery. Is Yosemite National Park scenic? Of course it's scenic. It's famous for a reason. It's absolutely stunning. There are some of the largest waterfalls in the United States and in the world are located here. You have massive granite cliffs. The valley itself is just spectacular. Even the high country is amazing in the Sierras. In fact, one of our favorite days that we had in Yosemite National Park was actually on Tioga Road and going up there to see the high country. It's purely spectacular. It's very, very scenic. So even though Yosemite is absolutely spectacular, there's a few things here that I wasn't quite expecting. And I kind of touched base on this on a previous video, but because everything is so huge and just massive in scale, it tricks your brain a little bit, and you have to remind yourself at like what you're looking at. So like Nevada Falls is 600 feet tall. When I was looking at Nevada Falls originally, I was like, wow, that's a big waterfall, that's cool. But then I had to remember, that's a 600-foot waterfall. That is insane. Even El Capitan, it's just 4,000 feet of sheer granite. And yeah, it's huge, but you almost have to remind yourself, and Yosemite kind of does that to you. Like your brain almost can't comprehend how massive in scale it is. And that's not really a knock, but it's almost like its own worst enemy. I don't know how else to put it, but it's still spectacular. It's amazing. It earns high marks in the scenery department. All right, the most important category, personal experience. Did I have a good time? Yes, I had a good time. However, there were a few things that really dampened my experience here at this national park. So I had such lofty expectations for Yosemite Park that I was expecting just to be in complete awe of this place. And I never really fully got there. And that's probably my fault for just having just massive expectations and been wanting to go to this national park since I was a kid. And I've had this experience before where like Crater Lake National Park, I kind of touched base on this a little bit, where my first experience at Crater Lake was just kind of like, eh. And then when I went back a second time, I was like completely blown away by the national park. And then the third time I went, kind of fell in between. I'm hoping if I go back to Yosemite National Park, I kind of get that same kind of feel. Now that I've been there, I kind of have that experience maybe next time. So as you know, Yosemite National Park is extremely hard to get reservations for, particularly for camping reservations. Now, I had tried multiple times to get camping reservations and have struck out every time. The only way that we were able to go this last time was we won a preseason lotto for the North Pines campground to get reservations. And we were able to secure 6 days to go to North Pines. My experience at the campground was by far, hands down, the worst camping experience I have ever had. The campground itself is not laid out very well. There's not a lot of privacy between the different campsites, and they're pretty much right on top of each other. Unless you had campsites like on the edges of the campground itself or by the river, ours happened to be kind of in the middle of everything. So in addition to that issue, the camp hosts were awful. They were passive aggressive, they were condescending, and they micromanaged the hell out of that campground. They would do hourly walks of the campground and inspect everyone's campsite. They went into our screened-in canopy, found the cooler, threw it in the bear box, gave us a citation, and said if we did left food and stuff out again, that we could be kicked out. Even though I was just across the street by the river, and I had a conversation with them about it. They said it was because of bear activity and we broke the rules. To be perfectly honest, if a bear is going to break into my screened-in porch and find my cooler that was under a towel in broad daylight in this campground, you've got bigger problems. I'm sorry. And to make matters worse, and to compound the problem, we had neighbors that complained about us, about where our tent was, that we were overcrowding them. And they didn't even talk to us. They just went straight to the camp host. I mean, thankfully the camp host agreed with us. I mean, it's pretty hard not to agree with us when I can literally touch my tent and my truck at the same time, and we were the problem, even though that they were trying to put their tent probably a good 50 feet away from where they parked next to ours. It was just outrageous. All of this combined just led to the worst experience I've had camping at a national park or anywhere. It was downright awful, and it really, really affected our enjoyment of the national park. So one of my favorite experiences in Yosemite Valley was one of the most surprising. And I highly recommend, if you're spending the night, to go stargazing, especially in the meadows underneath El Capitan. Part of the reason is you kind of get away from the ambient light of Curry Village, but the other reason is you can see the rock climbers spending the night on the cliff face itself of El Capitan with their headlamps. It was amazing to see and to watch. I highly recommend it if you're spending the night in Yosemite Valley. But with all that being said, for my official rating for Yosemite National Park, I rate this park an all day, every day. But just like every national park, there's so much I can't wait to go see and do. We never made it to Hetch Hetchy or Mariposa Grove, and those were high on my list. And I can't wait to come back because I want to experience those, and there's so many other hikes that I want to do. But let me know if you think I'm being a little too harsh on this national park in the comments, what you would rate this national park. And if you like this video, please hit subscribe, and we'll see you in the next one.